Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It has been such a long time since I've done a long form video, and I wanted to take some time this morning, excuse my raspiness y'all, but I wanted to take some time this morning to get back into the saddle. My life is finally kind of settling down. As you guys know from previous videos, I relocated to Houston, Texas. So I've been here now for 2 years, gotten settled into, the new job that brought me here. I bought a house, and so now I'm settling into my new home. As you can see, my background is different again. So life has been very, very busy, but I'm finally able to take some time to get back to recording and back to doing some makeup videos. So with that being said, we are going to jump right into today's video.
But the sky is the limit, and what I want, I'ma get I'll reach my destiny. These are the steps of my journey.
So I went through my palette collection, which you guys know is ridiculous. And so I grabbed a couple of palettes here. I'm going to randomly pick one of those palettes that I'm going to do a look with today. So I decided to challenge myself a little bit today and choose the one who has probably I guess the most challenging palette, or the color story that I like the least, and it would be the Taco palette by Glamlite. And nothing against Glamlite, because I love Glamlite. I have quite a few Glamlite palettes, but this palette has always challenged me because look at these colors. Like, using this palette by itself, the colors probably won't blend well. They could easily get muddy. So I normally dip into this palette when I want a particular shade, but I'm gonna challenge myself today. I'm gonna do a look that's kind of classy, that's befitting for church, and let's see what we come up with this palette. Okay, brows are done, eye base is laid, and for those of you that are newer to the channel, I know you're probably wondering, why am I using so much product on my eyes, and why so heavy? So for those of you that don't know, I have eczema, and so because of that, my eyelids are very textured, so there's a lot of lines, and I don't have smooth eyelids, so I use a thicker concealer. I typically use the LA Girl Pro concealer. It's thick, and I opted for a lighter base because of these colors. I want the colors to show, but I have to go in a little heavier than maybe, some other folks, because I need to make sure that I can get as smooth of an eye look as I possibly can. So I'm going to take this first shade here called Carnitas, and it is a shimmer shade, and I am going to stamp this all over my lower lid under my natural crease, but then I'm also going to go onto my hood. So I'm going to go up a little higher as if I'm doing like a smoky eye. Next, I'm going to grab this Carne Asada shade. It's a matte, and I'm going to blend out the Carnitas, the shimmer shade. I'm going to blend that out on this fluffy brush, and I'm going to take this all the way up to my brow and even into my brow, right at the bridge of my nose area. The only part that I'm not going to blend into is into the brow bone. I want to save that space for my highlight. Next, I'm going to pick up this shade called Onions. It's almost like a whitish, goldish color. And on this small flat brush, I'm putting it on my brow bone for highlight. And then I'm going to accentuate in the corners, almost like carving out a cut crease with this color just to give it a little pop. Then I'm going to draw a wing. I've been doing an open wing just because of the shape of my eyes. I think this complements my eyes better. So I don't completely close it up. Fill it in. And then I'm going to just trace out the rest of the liner on the top portion of my eye. Then we're going to pop on some mascara, pop on a lash, and then on to face. I am going to use this Putty Primer by e.l.f. Just work that into the skin. And then my go-to foundation has been the, this like a radiant, I think it's called Radiant Glow by Juvia's Place. I really like this foundation. It gives a nice natural, kind of like a soft finish. It's not too dewy. And then what I like to do is with my with the flat face brush, I carve out the tops of my brows because I do not like halo brows. So I don't use my concealer to carve out my brows, when I first draw them, when I first start. So next I'm taking this Juvia's Place concealer in the shade number 9. And I'm going to just kind of place it on my face in my highlight area. So under my eyes, I'll do in the middle of my forehead, slightly down my nose, not all the way down the bridge of my nose, just like the top. And then my smile lines, because those will crease up on me absolutely. Under my nose, so the top of my lip, and then a little bit on my chin. So while this Juvia's Place is a wet, this is a wet concealer, so you want it to dry down before you start blending. So what I like to do is I like to blend out my chin and my forehead and my nose first. That way the concealer under my eyes has an opportunity to dry down, because the more it dries, the more coverage that you'll get. So I'm just kind of working it this way. Again, allowing it to especially dry under my eyes, because I will crease the most in that area. And this is like my favorite brush. This is a Real Techniques foundation brush, and I've had this brush for a while. I've actually replaced this brush about 3 times. That's how much I like it. It's definitely my go-to for concealer. And then once I have my concealer all blended out, I like to go back in with my foundation brush, not picking up any additional products, and just blend everything together. I'm using this HD Flawless setting powder, like a banana powder, to set the concealer. And I'm taking this, it's a really small, dense brush. It's like a mini kabuki brush is what it kind of feels like on my face, but I love it for setting my concealer, not my concealer, for setting my powder on my eyes. It's a really nice brush, and it lays everything evenly. I haven't used a sponge in, I want to say, over a year now. So now I'm going to go in with the One Size setting powder, this pressed powder from One Size, and I'm just pressing that on the areas, the rest of my face, or where the foundation is. Just going ahead and setting that with the One Size powder. I like this powder too. It's really lightweight. It's super lightweight. All right, let's go ahead and bronze up the face. And this is the dark palette, the dark bronzing palette from Juvia's Place. So I'm just placing that, just pressing it on where I want that to lay. And then I'll go down and contour my nose a little bit. And I'll pick up this blush palette from Smashbox. I have had this brush palette for a while. And I'm mixing that peach and pink shade and just stamping that on. Buff it in just a little bit, but not going too crazy. I do like to go up to my temples just to give me that nice flushed look. And then in the same palette, I just grab the highlighter just to highlight the high points of my face, my cheekbones, the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, and then I also like to highlight my Cupid's bow. Now I'm going in with the One Size setting spray, and I love this for Sundays because I sweat so much during praise and worship, and this makes sure that my makeup stays in place. Next, I'm going to grab a black eyeshadow, and I'm going to just line that on my waterline. Place that black shadow on my waterline. I'm going to dip into that green shimmer shade, and I'm going to place it right underneath. So right on my lower lid. So right up under the black, just to add a little pop to the eye. And then I'm going to take that Carne Asada shade again and buff that out under that green shimmer. And that just gives my eyes a nice little pop. Finish it off with some mascara. I'm going back into that Carne Asada shade, and I'm using that to line my lips. And this is just my own little hack. I like using eyeshadow
for lip liner. It lasts, it doesn't smudge, it blends into the lipsticks well. So this is just kind of my hack. Now I'm taking this pinky nude shade from Juvia's Place, and I'm using this lipstick to fill in the center of my lips, blend it with my finger, and then I'm going to top it off with the gloss.
And here is the finished look. And simple, soft. So the moral of this story, guys, is that even though you may have a palette that you could deem to be difficult, because I think our first instinct sometimes when we look at palettes is blending the mattes and how those colors are going to mesh together. But as you can see, you don't always need to have a bunch of colors or anything like that to pull off a nice look. So I just used essentially the same shade. So you could use complementary mattes and shimmers to pull off a really nice look. And then I used this onion shade to just kind of highlight, to give it a little bit of extra pop. Nothing crazy. So I'm glad to be back and glad to bring you guys more looks and maybe even maybe I'll purchase a few new things. Probably not, because my eyeshadow collection is outrageous at this point. But again, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. You know the drill. When you see my face pop up on the screen, that is your opportunity to join the Amy gang. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.